Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. I'm gonna be honest, I'm generally impressed. Besides one minor hiccup, and I think we all know what that is, this was an actually good episode. Let's talk about Finn and Sheila. Finn has been impressing me lately. Now, yeah, I've talked about his questionable acting skills, but lately he's been impressing me. He's gotten to a point where I'm sitting there thinking, maybe you should sit there and play the long game. Don't agitate this woman. Don't. She's just gonna put you to sleep or do something even worse. Let's not poke the bear. But for the last past couple of days, including today, he's like, yo, listen, I'm gonna leave, and you're not gonna stop me. What are you gonna do? Shoot me again? I'm like, I give him his credit. And he keeps trying to reason with this woman, and to be honest, I think it actually worked today. The whole time I'm sitting there listening to him talk, and listen, if you really love me like you say you do, you'll let me go. You'll let me go and see my family. I can't sit there and see my mother, but I should not be without seeing my child and my wife and everything. And I'm sitting there looking at this like, you do realize that you are talking to a sociopath, right? That the woman is nuts. You can't talk to a crazy person and try to use logic. It's just not going to work. And after a while, surprisingly, it worked. Like I'm to this day. I mean, to this day, but just like I'm surprised it worked. But I feel like it worked because it had to work. Okay, because she didn't let him up any of those other times. She didn't sit there and try to call 911 or call the family and get a head start or anything like that. So part of me is just like, well, what changed today than the last past 4 days when you've been doing this? What changed? Um, Hell, it gets to a point when he gets up and she's like, well, you're not strong enough. No. I'm good. And she's like, listen, the plan was never to sit there and keep you here indefinitely. You were never my prisoner. And she's like, I'm not going to stop you. She stepped aside. I'm just like, wait. I was like, wait. You're letting him go? Sweetheart, that's the first logical and reasonable thing I've seen you do since ever. But the second logical thing. First was saving Taylor. Because to be honest, she didn't have to do that. She really didn't. Um, but she did. So that's the second thing of logic that I actually seen her do. And I'm just like, and as he's walking past, I'm just like, is she gonna sit there and stick him with the needle again? Is she gonna sit there and put his ass on the ground and just put him to sleep again? But she doesn't. She actually let him walk out the room, and I'm just like, the whole time I'm kind of glued to the TV. Like it's like walking past a dangerous snake, and the snake is like, "No, you can walk past. I'm good. You can walk right past." Now, in the beginning, when Lee told Liam and Bill that Finn was alive, they were like, "Yeah, you've been through a lot. You still seem like you're kind of out of it. Finn is dead. And it's just how it. Unfortunately, we wish it wasn't." But she convinces them, and she goes into her whole story. The only thing that actually still do upset me is why. She was like, "I wanted it that way." She didn't say why. And what was your plan once you got him actually back to health, back to life? I mean, I get that she was like, well, the doctors gave up on him. Okay. So I get she wanted to do this on a DL. But with that being said, she could have told Steffi, you know? And here's the thing, she can't blame the Forresters for this because this was Finn's bio mom that did this. This wasn't, an enemy of Ridge or Steffi or anything like that. This was literally his mother. So she had no reason whatsoever to hide the truth from Steffi. Okay? She really didn't. Not going to cops, whatever, the hospitals, fine. But her sitting there saying, well, I wanted it that way. I'm like, okay, you going to sit there and say why? No? Are we going to know at any point in time? I guess we're just going to skip that whole thing, right? We're just going to act like that just, okay, sure, whatever. But she convinces them, and Bill goes with her. Now, was this her house? Because Lee's like, listen, if I recognize the building, then I'll point it out. I'm like, what do you mean if you recognize the building? Isn't this your place? Like, did I miss something? I know it's her place because Sheila went there looking to find, where Finn is buried at. So, how did you not? Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna sit there and nitpick this episode because it was actually good. Now, as Finn is walking towards the door, Bill gets there. And Bill sees Finn. He's like, hey, listen, everything's going to be okay. You're safe now. Are you a cop? You're a firefighter? Okay, sure, whatever. So he gets there and he sees Sheila. And Lee comes in there. And Lee and Finn hug and everything like that. And, he's happy because he knows that she's alive now. But Lee did give that look to Sheila. Like, the minute I'm done hugging my son, I'm gonna kill this bitch. Like, that's serious. She had that look on her face. So, that's pretty much where the episode ends. Remember I was to talk about that hiccup, that small little minor inconvenience? Ridge and Taylor. Guess what they talked about? Can the plane go any faster? You're on a private goddamn plane. You're on a private jet and you're asking could it go fast? Okay. Guess what they talked about? Like a wild guess. You know what? I'm just not even in the mood to sit there and make a joke at this point because I'm just not in the mood. Yeah, they talked about Steffi. Poor Steffi. Steffi's going through so much. We gotta be there for Steffi. They talked about Finn for a little bit. Oh, and Finn made Steffi so happy. Ah, there we go. Yep. Finn was a perfectly good prop for Steffi. Christ. I wish I can sit there and say more. I don't really have any. And you know what? I'm not going to sit there and taint this review by being a negative Nancy and talking about this one little blip that we had in this episode that I could have personally did without, but, I don't know, filler, reasons. At this point, I don't even care. I really don't care. It was actually a good episode. And like I said, the way that Finn was giving Sheila attitude, I was there for it. Okay? I was there for it. It's actually the first time I was there for any moment with Finn. Because I've said this before, that I felt like Finn was a waste of a character. Okay? And I felt like he was only there as a prop for Steffi. I felt like he brought nothing to the table up until this point. And I know a subscriber Wasn't there saying that, their romance was rushed and everything like that, and, you know, and I did sit there and talk about how much of a terrible actor he is. Now, I'm not necessarily trying to amend my statement, because I thought he actually did do a good job in today's episode. I think the problem with Finn in his acting is the same problem that I have with most of these soap opera characters. One that plays now Alex, Robert. They have this real problem when it comes towards being dramatic. And it gets to a point where it just becomes very silly and very, like, what are you doing? You're annoying me, and it's not working. Um, I don't think that Finn is a, I don't think that, I don't think he's a bad actor. I think that there's positions that he's just not good at. And to be fair, Jeannie, Jeannie Francis, she can act, but when it comes towards being dramatic, I just don't think that they really pull it off. And there was a lot of scenes where Finn was being dramatic, and it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. It just came across as bad acting. Today he was good. I give him his props to that. He was good because he gave Sheila a hell of an attitude, and I was there for it. Let me double check my notes. I feel like that's about it. The most pertinent information, anyway. So before I go, just a quick little announcement. I may sit there and put it in a post, but me, DC Soap Sanctuary, are going to be on JLJ Media tomorrow on a show called Extra Connections. It's going to be live. If you are in New York time, it's going to be around 9 o'clock, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely stop by and watch the show. We're going to have a great time. It's something I was looking forward to for quite a while, so it should be pretty interesting. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts on in the comment section below, and I will see everyone in the next video.